Okay guys, we've got a little bit to cover today. We're going to cover the dollar index. I'm going to give you some price targets for Bitcoin. We're going to cover the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones, the CME futures for Bitcoin. Also give you some price targets for Chainlink, Ethereum, and XRP. This is a very important chart. If you do have access to the charts, this is under BTC related. It's called DXY versus Bitcoin. So I'm going to show you some stuff about this chart. Before we get into that, if you do want to access these charts, my website's opticalartcrypto.com. The link will be in the description, pinned as the first comment. I have Bitcoin, altcoins, precious metals, and stocks charts. I also have tutorials teaching you how I create these charts. Again, the link will be pinned first comment and description. All of these charts play out live. Just click the link and they load up. So real quick, just want to recap. So this chart, again, all of my charts, when I reference them on Twitter or in live streams and videos, I give you the chart names here so you know which chart to load up. By the way, my Twitter is now private, so if you do want to follow me on Twitter, you need to be subscribed to my chart. So if you're already subscribed and you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you send me an email. I'll verify you have an account and I'll accept your request. If you noticed 14 hours ago, I said please reference chart shown in today's live stream. That was yesterday. Just wanted to point out there's a lot of confluence showing strong support at 26,000, 26,100. That was my buy-in point. And you can see, that's what I was saying, at 26,083, if we pushed up, 27,707. And again, notice this rising wedge and support. You can see what happened. This is the rising wedge. I changed the color, as you can see it right here. This is the top, and this is the bottom. And again, I update the charts hourly as price moves along because I'm trading them as well. But notice when we broke down from this rising wedge right here, this was my target right here. 26,089. We did wick below it, but you can see we came back up, found support, pushed up. So again, this is a key level to support level to hold. If we drop below this, we have some lower targets. I'm going to give you those targets as well. If we do push up, according to this chart, your next resistance above is going to be around 27,709. And again, I'm going to cover the dollar index. This is important because this is going to give you information about which way price can go with Bitcoin. Again, I do think we are topped out. I think, again, I've already taken my profit. I'm ready for a ride down. I know a lot of people are bullish thinking this can go higher. I'm going to show you why I do not think that's the case. And again, I'm just showing you what's in the charts, guys. This here, I'm referencing this chart here. So I said, look, and this followed along with the chart I just showed you. This chart here, this is the Binance BTC USDT, this 321.20. So I gave you upside target. If we broke up from this pattern, this is actually bullish pattern, but there was another pattern showing it's a rising wedge. But either way, if we came down, your first target was 26,000. Your upside target was 28,146. And you can see this chart, how it played out. We broke down, came back up, tested resistance. This was our support, and this is support by going back. And this is what I'm trying to teach you guys, how to play these charts. Go back and see. This was a lot of resistance. So that means if you drop, this is going to be support. You can see this was tested repeatedly. Hit it to the tick right here, push back up. So again, that's why I said this would be your perfect point to long or buy in, 26,000. We pushed up, look where we got rejected. This fib channel line right here. I actually made a community post on YouTube as well saying this was resistance. We started coming back down. So your current support right now for Bitcoin is 26,137. If that breaks, I do have different charts with different targets, but your next major support below is going to be between 24,780 to 24,600. Remember, this is at an angle. It's depending on when you make contact is what price will be. Out here is 24,891. Again, so if you have access to the charts, when you make contact, that's the point potentially too long. And again, you can see how much support and resistance this blue and green line has been. So that's why I say if we drop, you could catch a bounce right here. Not saying that from this point we go to the moon. Again, I play the dips. When it comes down, I buy it support, sell it resistance, just like here. Buy support, sell it resistance. Come back down here. I might chance buying it. Keep in mind that more times you test it, it's possible it'll break. And also, again, follow the dollar index and follow U.S. markets, which we're going to cover. If we do push above this point, your current resistance right now is 27,185. If we push above that, you can see we got topped out pretty much here. We did push above it. You see we wicked right up to it. So if we do push up, watch the target around 28,272. This here, so this is going to get us into the dollar index, guys. This is very important. This plays into another chart, that blue ring that I've been talking about. So at the time in yesterday's live stream, this would be considered a bullish pattern. This would be an ascending triangle. We got our top here. We got our support. So if the dollar pushed up, Bitcoin would come down. If the dollar dropped, Bitcoin will go up. So that's what I was showing. And notice the support level I gave here, $89, 89.89. And you can see right here, this is that same chart. This is the this right here is the support level. Instead of breaking to the upside, we broke to the downside. But look where we found perfect support. You know, that's how accurate these charts are. Whether it's stocks, altcoins, Bitcoin, we came down, we found support. The dollar's pushing up. So hey, what does that mean for Bitcoin? Bitcoin's coming down. So you know, use the dollar index. It's completely inversely correlated. And just to show you, again, you know, my target right here, 89.89, and that's where we hit. It's pushing up. So that brings us to this chart, and you can clearly see, you know, I have these same dates marked off. This is February 20th. This is when we had our COVID crash. Notice, you know, the dollar came down, and Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin below. Bitcoin came down as well, the first to recover, and we had a spike because all the markets were crashing. Bitcoin was crashing, gold was crashing, everybody was jumping into the dollar. So the dollar was the first to recover, and then you can see as the dollar started coming down, Bitcoin started coming up, and you can see it's like a mirror image. But what I would like to point out, and this is important, guys, this plays along with another chart. So you can see right here, let me make this red. So this is a falling wedge. Someone had mentioned this to me on Twitter. I do appreciate you mentioning that to me. You can see this is a falling wedge right here. So falling wedges are typically bullish patterns. If we break to the upside, if we find support, and keep in mind the date here. This is right here around January. This is January 1st. So if we find support and we start pushing up, the dollar starts going up. Obviously, Bitcoin does the opposite of what the dollar does. So if the dollar starts pushing up, Bitcoin's going to start coming down. And if you go back and we zoom out a bit, now I put a vertical line here showing the 25th of January 2018. Both of these are the same. This is a falling wedge, and we broke to the upside. So notice what happened as the dollar, when the dollar broke up from this falling wedge. Look what happened to the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin started coming down while the dollar started pushing up. Again, it's inversely correlated. So my point is, and I will show you another chart that this is pretty much on par with. If we break to the upside, again, it's possible we could break to the downside. I'm just showing you previously. And keep in mind, this was January 25th. January 25th, we broke up from this. Bitcoin started coming down. And this here, right now, we're coming up on January. January 25th is right here. So it is very possible the dollar starts pushing up. That means Bitcoin will start coming down. So if you do have access to the charts, this is under BTC related. It's called DXY versus BTC. Again, so the Dow Jones, you need to follow the U.S. markets. You know, U.S. markets down, gold down. You know, people are going to be hopping into the U.S. dollar. That plays along with that falling wedge. Now, this chart here, I mentioned this in the stream as well. So look, I think the Dow Jones is topped out. If I zoom out, show you the bigger picture. You know, this is why I put in a put a while back on the Dow when we hit this ring. You know, we came down, we pushed up a bit, we pushed up, we came down. So this was a nice little put. This is the next red ring. Remember, this is the same fib circle that I used to predict the crash way back here. Let me zoom out a bit. This is the same fib circle. This is why when we crossed red and blue, these are my targets I gave. And keep in mind, we bottomed on this ring. Right here, bottomed perfectly on it. And this is that same fib circle. That's why I'm saying this is possibly a top. Again, if we push up, this is where I would put a put. We didn't quite make it to it. We're finding this was previously resistance, and we did get above it, so this could be support. So it'll be interesting to see if we get above this point. It's always possible. I'm just showing you what's in the charts, guys. I think it is very possible that we are topped out for the Dow Jones to potentially start moving down the inside of this ring. This would play along perfectly with the dollar index in a falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. The Nasdaq, this same thing. This is a fib circle. Let me just smack you out of the way. This is a fib circle that has been, you know, pretty much nailing the tops for the Nasdaq. Notice we pushed above this white ring, immediately came down. This is the next white ring below. Notice we found perfect support here. We pushed up. We got this crazy candle that shot up. Notice the next candle was right below this ring, started coming down. So if we push up, you know, watch to potentially get rejected. Now it is possible we get another pump above and then possibly come back down. But if we break this support here, you know, right here is around 128.93. This is 129.40. But I do think it's very likely the same thing's going to play out. We will ultimately be topped out. Again, I think the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow is pretty much topped out. It might get one last pump, but I think we are potentially going to start coming down. Again, I do have stock charts available as well, but your next major support, respecting, you know, fib channel lines in different directions, but this will be a major support level. See, there's a lot of support and resistance. This is right at 125, and then you have one around 122. So again, just want to show you that with the markets. This here, so this plays along, guys. If you want to watch that video about this, I'll put a link up to it now, where I showed the animation about this this chart. Every time we fall through a blue ring, we break the 20-week. This yellow moving average is the 20-week. We broke through this blue ring, we crossed the 20-week, we dropped. We crossed this blue ring, we broke the 20-week, we dropped. So it's very possible that we could get topped out at this ring, push price down. One point I will be buying in will be right here on this red ring, depending on when we make contact. But it's very possible that, again, we've been respecting this fib circle going way back. So if we hit this ring from the inside, it can push us down. We could already be topped out and start coming down, maybe get another bounce to push up. But I think it's very likely that we get a huge move at this point. Now, it's possible we could cross this ring, get a hell of a pump, but if it plays out like the last two rings, again, cross blue, break the 20-week, crash. Cross blue, break the 20-week, crash. So I'm just saying, it doesn't mean we have to crash. It's possible we could pump. This is a major support level. Notice every time we push up this red ring, resistance, resistance, resistance. You just can just color that. Hold on. Let me make this yellow so you can see it. So again, every time we hit this ring, resistance, 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 came down to the 20-week. Pushed up, we didn't get rejected. This time we pushed above it, it became support. So I'm saying if we do come down, this would be a next likely point to buy in to catch a bounce. But do pay attention to this ring, and especially where this 20-week moving average is when we cross this point. So, and again, that does play along with this falling wedge. Remember, if the dollar starts pushing up, Bitcoin's going to come down. So if the dollar starts pumping, and we are at this ring right above the 20-week, well, you know what's possible. You've seen what happened on these previous rings. This is another chart I was referencing. So I just want to show you this chart here. This is a BTC USD 702.20, and you see this orange ring right here, 27,194. If you'll notice, every time we hit this red ring, this orange ring, we got rejected. It was support. We broke through it. It became resistance, resistance, resistance. Pushed above it just a bit. Resistance, 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 and resistance. So again, that's why I say always reference different charts. So currently, you can see your resistance, and we also have this fib channel line as well. But your current resistance right now, according to this chart, is around 27,039. Your next fib channel line below to pay attention to. Again, always look left. This right here has been resistance. So your next support level, according to this chart, is right here at 25,600. If we push up, you got to get above this ring around 27,039 and potentially 27,091. And the further out you go, the higher the price gets. But again, I would watch this resistance at 27,000. Let's see here. This chart I'm referencing now is this chart here. Hold on a sec. So this is when I'm referencing the Coinbase 321.20 weekly. I think this is under BTC related. So these are larger targets. Let me show you this. So if you can see that when we pushed up, we got rejected at this blue ring. Now listen, guys, it's always possible it pushes higher. All I'm doing is giving you targets to pay attention to if we do push up. You can see this was a lot of resistance. As soon as we pushed above it, and we got a little pump, found support, and we shot straight up. And once we pushed above this, let me zoom in a bit. Once we pushed above this fib channel line, this green one here, we pushed way above, came back down, but notice it was resistance. And now we're caught in a formation. So this could be a bull flag. If it's a bull flag, typically what you do is you do a pull from wherever you pushed up, and you could come down lower, I guess. We could say that point. Let's make this white so you can see it. So if this is the pole, and say we come down and test 25,500, and if this is a bull flag, and you bring this up, there's your target, right here. So I'm saying if we push up, a likely upside target would be right here, around 31,000. And again, I have multiple charts showing that if we do push up, a likely point to get rejected is around 31,000 to potentially 34,000. I'll show you some other charts that play along with that. Again, this chart here, let me just go and give you this price target. So look, this is the other chart. I'm not giving you a date. We cross this. You want that, get access to the charts. But look, if we push up, this is another chart showing 32,000 to potentially get rejected. If you're bullish, I'm not saying we have to push up, but if we did, this is the point I would take my profit, because so many charts show 32,000 would be the top. Let me go back to this chart and find it here. Let's see. So again, if we push up, 31,000, potentially 31,100, your downside target is going to be your first target. You can see this was a lot of resistance again. So your first downside target is going to be 24,300-ish, and then your next one below is going to be 22,900. This was resistance, this was support. That's what I say, no matter if it's altcoins, stocks, whatever, always go back and look left. When a certain fib channel line was a lot of resistance going back. This was a lot of resistance right here. I have this thick red line. If it's resistance, it will be support. So if we come down, again, I'm not expecting this to start going higher. I play the bounces. I buy at support, sell at resistance. Sometimes I sell early, it pushes higher, but you know what? It's about making profit, because at any point this could turn around and come back down. So this does give you price targets to pay attention to. Do note that we are, at least for this chart, we're caught in a formation right now. Your next resistance above is going to be right here, 27,136 to potentially 27,350. Again, when you reference different charts, it gives you a better picture of what's possible. This here, I'm referencing this chart here. This is the Coinbase BTC Euro chart. This chart has been very accurate. I made a tweet about this. I said if this line right here, you can see it's been a lot of resistance. So if resistance, 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 resistance. So I said in that tweet, I said if we push above this point, expect one hell of a pump. We pumped all the way to the next fib channel line above, and there was double resistance here. You have this line in this direction, and you have this line in this direction. So you can see we came down, we almost touched this point, this support, pushed all the way back up, almost touched it as resistance, and we came back down. Again, we're in a pattern, but your major resistance on this Euro chart, do a price label here. So your resistance, again, this is Euro, not USD, but you can still use this. So if you have a Euro chart up and a BTC USD chart, if price comes down and the Euro chart finds support right here at 20,971 and starts pushing up, wherever it is for Bitcoin USD, reference both charts. If we find support here and push up, then you'd want to potentially buy in, regardless if if you're looking at a BTC USD chart. But again, the Euro chart has been very accurate. So the current support for this is 20,000. Let's say 20,100. If we break that, your next major support below is going to be all the way down here, 18,626. Your resistance 22,361. If we push above that, you get resistance at 23,200. Keep in mind these are at an angle. So further out, higher the price. Let's see. This is the CME futures. Price pushed up like crazy over Christmas and through the weekend. We have some crazy gaps. And this is another example. Let me make this ring brighter. I want to show you that even the CME futures has been respecting these rings. So this is the next ring above, and this is another example of 32,000 being a likely upside target. And we've been respecting, I have some of these flip circles turned off, but notice we pushed up as resistance. It was support, 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 and then we pushed up. This is the next flip circle above. Hold on. This is the next flip. All right, come on, work now. This is the next flip circle above. Look at this target, 32,000. Again, I'm saying a lot of charts show if we push up, even the CME futures chart, 32,000 is a likely point to get rejected. I'm not expecting to go that high. I'm just telling you if we do, that would be a likely point to sell and take your profit. But look at these gaps. 26,620. To fill your first gap below is 23,700. we got these multiple gaps here, but to fill both of these gaps, we'd have to come down to 17,000 to fill those. We do have smaller gaps. I don't know if these gaps have to be filled. I mean, these are smaller gaps, but we do have gaps all the way down to, what, 9,665. I mean, and we have really tiny gaps down here as far as 3,500. But, I would think the larger gaps would at least get filled. So potentially, if this gap gets filled, it's 23,700, and combined, these gaps are as large as this one. That's 10,000. Around 17,000. So I did want to point that out, and it's crazy how many charts are showing a target of 32,000. This here, so it's going to cover. This is right here is link. So I just want to show you during this live stream that I was showing that your resistance was $13.06, and your support was $11.42. This is the chart right here, and you can see this was right on the money, guys. Let me move this out of the way. So right here, 1306, we hit it as perfect resistance, came down. Notice we wicked below it, we're pushing right back above it. $11.42 if we came down. So we got rejected here, found support. So again, these charts are accurate. So if we drop, your next support is going to be right here. And just like I showed you in the previous chart, we had double resistance above. This is an example here. You've got resistance in this direction, and you've got resistance in this direction. So this is a lot of resistance. Same thing with this. You've got support here, and you've got support here. So this is a very strong support level. So if we do break $11.45, your next target to potentially have a nice buy-in point is right here at $10.66. And I have this marked off. This is a point I will buy a link. I'm not into a bounce like this, but if we do hit this point, rings are reversal points. This is a Fib circle right here. We've been respecting going back a good ways. So again, if we do drop down, whenever we make contact with this ring, I'll be buying Chainlink to catch a nice bounce. Again, rings are reversal points. If you hit a ring from the top, it's a point we can get rejected. If you hit a ring at the bottom, it could be support to push you up. But these are your current support resistance levels. So if we push up, if we find support here and push back up, watch it potentially get rejected at $13.22, and then you have support levels above. Now I have these marked off, update them as price moves along. But again, your first support level, if we break here, $10.67, and then great buy-in, potentially $8.86. Let me see, this is, was covering, so this is Ethereum. So let me show you the Ethereum chart. So I said, look, your resistance was 747. Your support that needs to hold is 722. And if we break below that, your next support is 684. And this is how it played out. Get a little squiggly on here. So you can see, and let's reference this. So I said, let me move this out of the way. At the time, where was price? So we were right here at 747. So alright, so 747 came down, found support right here. 684. Alright, right here. Found support 684. And then we pushed back up. Your resistance is 745. And your current, now it looks like we're below this. So your current, well, we'll have to see. This is a 2-hour candle. But we're teetering on whether 722 is support or resistance. But if we drop, you can see your next support level is going to be $681. Very strong support. Again, this is what I consider a strong support because you have a ring we've been respecting right here, this yellow Fib circle, as well as this trend line. You see this trend line right here has been a lot of support and resistance going back a good ways. So to me, that would be a likely point to catch a nice bounce. This would be between $638 to potentially $630. And again, this is a Fib circle right here. If you want to watch that live stream, that's what I was talking about. Resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support, support. And again, you can see how it's respecting, all of these Fib circles. So if we drop, we have a white ring. This is potentially a likely point, so I would buy here. I would probably less likely to buy here. You could catch a nice bounce up to potentially 676 if you buy at 630, but I am expecting a major bounce if we hit 575. And we do have targets below. Remember, if we're respecting a ring, if you break the ring below, the inside part, the bottom part of the ring will be support, and I don't expect this to come down that low anytime soon. but just showing you if you're respecting a ring of support, once you fall through, the bottom of that ring will end up being support as well. But again, my buying point for Link that I'm watching would be 575. But anyways, that just gives you price targets for Link. XRP, I did cover that. You know, this would have been a bad trade. I said that, you know, if we come down, you know, where I would buy it would be 23 cents. It came down way below that. Now, keep in mind, though, there's all this news about, you know, the SEC going after Ripple or XRP, and there's talk about Coinbase. They're going to be delisting XRP, so I guess that's very bearish for it. And you can see how this played out. I mean, it's still coming down. So if I would have bought here, I would have got wrecked. But again, I just want to show you that you can see that this was the support I said needed to hold. This was 27. This is 0.278. Notice right here, 0.278. And we were bouncing on it as soon as we broke it. We came down. We did find little support, but now we're still coming down. So your next support level right here looks like 0.167. The next support level below. And again, what I say is zoom out, guys. Zoom out, look at the bigger picture. You can see, and again, we're expecting multiple fib channel lines. This right here, this yellow one right here was support. You can see when we hit this, we pushed up a total of, you know, 65%. We broke this support level, but you do have another support level. You can see right here. You can see price pushed up, resistance, resistance, resistance became support. So this would be a next support level. If you want a chance to buy, I would be very cautious. There's a lot going on with XRP, but again, this would be a likely point if you want to try and play a bounce on it. You know, potentially 0.116. So I did want to cover those. I have a lot of altcoin charts, guys. Let me just show you what's available. So if you go into altcoins, the ones I currently have: Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, XLM, Neo, ADA, Chainlink, Tezos, BSV, Comp, VeChain, EOS, Polkadot, OMG, Wi-Fi, DeFi, Libra, Binance Coin, and let's see, Bitcoin. Just want to show you how to access some, or where these charts are. So you click on Bitcoin. These are the exchanges I was showing you. These are the names of the charts referenced in the chart itself. So if you click on these, this is for price targets, and these are other charts like Bitcoin dominance, peak of the bull run 2.0 chart. This is that chart I showed you, the dollar versus Bitcoin. So there's a lot of good charts you can use here. If we have major drops or a major pump, a lot of these charts will give you these larger moves. These are for smaller moves. I do have some swing trading charts on the smaller time frame, and then again I have stocks, guys. Stocks: Dow Jones, Apple, Google, Gold Trust Miners, QQQ, high yield bonds, Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, Cleveland Cliffs, Maxro Technologies, US dollar. I showed you that, US dollar B, Boeing, JP Morgan, Lockheed Martin, S&P, oil, Euro, USD, Nvidia, Netflix, natural gas, Nifty 50, Russell 2000, Nasdaq, Pfizer, PayPal, and BioNTech. I put Pfizer and BioNTech because they're working on the vaccine. PayPal is doing pretty good as well. And again, have precious metals: gold, silver, palladium, and then I have tutorials, guys. So if you're interested in tutorials, you know, the first one I teach is trendline analysis. All of my charts are based off of trend lines. If you learn how to use trend lines, a lot of people think you always have to do a trend line from the top or from the bottom. Actually, you can use trend lines in different ways, and they're still accurate. So this teaches you about how to use trend lines. This is a very important tool for trading. The next tutorial, I teach you how to create fib circles from trend lines. Trend lines are a useful tool to create fib circles. This is the method of charting all the charts I'm showing you now. This is how I create fib channel charts from trend lines. And then when you have the scaffolding, which is what I call the fib channels, I'm able to create accurate fib circles based on these charts. So I teach you all of that in this tutorial. And again, it says refined method. This is after I've created so many charts. You know, I was able to improve my method. So this is the most important tutorial of all of them. And these are just older tutorials where I was kind of, you know, learning as I was creating these charts. But again, these are the three most important ones to watch. And again, if you want to access tutorials, you know, stocks, charts, just click on the subscribe and check out the different options. But again, the website's obscurecrypto.com. The link will be in the description, pinned as the first comment. Do pay attention, guys. This is a falling wedge. Bitcoin does the opposite of the dollar. If the dollar pushes up, Bitcoin is coming down. And again, that does play along with, you know, this chart right here. And again, go back, watch that animation. I'll put a link for it. But guys, that's it. I'm going to put a link up to that previous stream. It's 8 hours long, but if you want to fast forward to the end of it, I give you kind of a recap of everything that happened. Guys, that's it. Till the next video. Trade safe, trade smart.